so much focus on Donald Trump's perceived misogyny and Hillary Clinton's alleged corruption, there's been little attention paid to the policy ideas of the White House hopefuls. But the winners' ideas will move to centre stage after the election. What exactly are they? For Donald Trump, it's about America first, restoring prosperity and security with tighter US borders and an end to trade pacts. For Hillary Clinton, it's about being stronger together, meaning greater engagement with the world and rejecting her rivals' attacks on women, Muslims, Mexicans and others. Both candidates do agree on the urgent need to invest billions of dollars to fix America's crumbling transport infrastructure, and both have made expensive promises that mean neither would reverse the growth of the nearly $20 trillion US national debt. Mr. Trump has condemned the proposed Trans-Pacific Partnership Agreement and says he will renegotiate or withdraw from the NAFTA pact with Mexico and Canada. Mrs. Clinton also criticised the TPP, reversing her more liberal stance when she was Secretary of State. But she's less hostile to trade than Mr. Trump, saying pacts must be smart and fair. Mr. Trump's hardline stance centres on his pledge to build a wall on the US-Mexico border and deport 11 million unauthorised migrants. He also wants to ban Muslim immigration. Mrs. Clinton's stance is, by contrast, ultra-liberal. It includes efforts to attract Hispanic voters with the promise of reforms that would give unauthorised immigrants a path to full citizenship. Mr. Trump aims to slash the top corporate rate of income tax from 35% to 15%. He would also cut taxes for high-income earners from nearly 40% to 33% and reduce the number of tax brackets. Mrs. Clinton hasn't proposed a change to the headline corporate tax rate, but she does want the rich to pay more tax, planning to make the highest-earning 1% of Americans a key source of higher tax revenue. Mr. Trump denies that man-made greenhouse gas emissions are warming the planet. He plans to unleash the full force of fossil fuel energy and put laid-off coal miners back to work. Mrs. Clinton says climate change is a serious threat and backs an accelerated move away from fossil fuels towards renewable energy. Leaked emails, however, suggest that she's less hostile to fracking than she's let on. Mr. Trump has softened his line from the primaries that banks are, quote, total killers. He's pledged to dismantle the post-crisis Dodd-Frank reforms, which banks blame for stifling lending. Mrs. Clinton hasn't followed the left-wing call to break up big banks. She's praised Dodd-Frank in public, but leaked speeches to Goldman Sachs show her to be more sceptical about its benefits. Mr. Trump echoes the Republican call to repeal and replace Barack Obama's healthcare reforms, whose failure he says is clear from forecasts of rising insurance premiums. Mrs. Clinton has celebrated Obamacare for delivering health insurance to 20 million Americans who didn't have it before, but she's also acknowledged that it needs some fixes.